our speaker is already here. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, introduce our speaker for the next session, and then take it forward. So, Colleen Pimentel, she's right there. Um, Colleen is a key account executive, strategic AI and ISV at Google. Um, she's a founder, she's an author, and obviously she's a go-to-market business leader with 3 decades of experience. Like I said, at Google and also Oracle. She's a leading advocate for the great earn learning, a process of trading external expectations for the authentic life defined by purpose rather than just achievement. I think the theme we've been having the last couple of sessions, this flows very well with it. Throughout her 30-year career, Colleen mastered the art of reinvention. Um, and you will see a lot of that in her conversation today, navigating over 10 pivots while mentoring others to unlock their most purposeful professional chapters. Colleen continues to advocate for psychological safety and authentic agency with the goal of building corporate cultures and personal lives where individual voices are heard and truest powers finally step forward. Welcome, Colleen. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time, and I'll let you take it away.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here today. Hello, everyone. Depending upon where you are, I'm either going to be saying good morning or good afternoon to you. Let me do just a really quick introduction of myself, if you can bear with me for just 1 second. Um, if you don't mind, I just lost something that I needed to actually do this presentation. So please bear with me for 1 second. So as a way of introduction, I have actually been in high tech for approximately 30 years at some of the big whales, Google and Oracle. And in those 30 years, I've actually done and seen a lot, and I had 10 reinventions, but that's not what I'm here today to talk to you about. Today, I'm actually here as a speaker and a coach with my sole purpose to share with you how you take back your control so that in the hustle and bustle of 2026, that we actually try to lower the way that how people are feeling overwhelmed and to stop the state of burnout, which is starting to be a pandemic right now. And my understanding is on this Zoom right now, we have a very diverse crowd. So crossing many age groups from early career professionals to seasoned professionals. And the good news is that I've actually worked in both of these categories, and my talk, it really applies to all these groups and anyone in between. So I don't know about you, but the start of 2026 has felt like one of the most exhausting starts to any year that I've experienced. And I think the promise of AI, that it would give us our time back. But instead, it's actually increased the velocity of our expectations. There's more noise, there's more tools, and there's more instant. And because of that, I actually wanted to talk to you about a hard truth that I believe in and a thesis that I have built, which is speed without direction isn't momentum, it's exhaustion. So I'd love to put those Zoom emojis in action. And if you can send me a reaction, if what I just told you resonated with you, do you feel that exhaustion, especially in 2026? Yeah. So let me ask you this. Have you ever wrestled with a difficult email? Just staring at the screen and you start to write out a sentence, but it doesn't look good. So you erase the sentence and you start writing again. And you keep trying to write this, but you can't. And eventually you're just staring at a blinking cursor. And ultimately, I guess we think if we stare harder, the words or the answer is going to come to us. So we do, but nothing, zilch, nada. It's like we're hitting our head against the laptop screen. So eventually we close the laptop and we walk away. Maybe we go for lunch or go for a run or grab some coffee. And it's in that moment that we hit the pause. And boom, the answer comes to us. In this case, it's the perfect sentence. It seems like magic, but it's not, because the answer was always there. And with enough space and time, the answer always reveals itself to you. The thing is we couldn't find the solution because we were too busy looking at the problem. And this is what I call the strategic pause. But the word pause to our society, our culture, and the businesses that we're in is frowned upon. And why not? Because we are conditioned to want everything instantly. Amazon delivers next day. Uber Eats will deliver within an hour. You can get answers on the internet in minutes and validation on social media in seconds. So when it comes to ourselves, to our employees, to our companies, we expect the exact same. And with the introduction of AI, these expectations have just become tenfolded. We live in a world where if it isn't instant, we feel like we failed because no one truly values the pause. We're optimized for activity, just doing, but we've forgotten how to optimize for effectiveness, which is getting to where we want to go. And we do it at work. We tell our teams to move fast. We give them AI to go 10 times faster. But if you're heading in the wrong direction, AI just gets you lost at 10 times the speed. So do me a favor, close your eyes with me. And I want you to envision that you're in Japan and you have the ability to get on the bullet train. And the bullet train is going 200 miles an hour. But there's a problem. The bullet train is actually going in the wrong direction. So my question to you is, would you stay on that bullet train just because it was going fast? Open your eyes. Of course not. You would get off that train and you would go on to a different train going in the right direction, even if it was slower. So my question to you is, why do we do this in our careers? Why do we do this in our companies? And why do we do this with our employees? Let's take a moment to talk about burnout, because burnout is not just about having a long to-do list. It comes when we are cognitively overloaded and control light. When we are continuously in motion, but we don't feel like we are the person that is driving. And based upon both a 2025 as well as a 2026 burnout statistics, 82, 82% of employees are currently at risk of burnout. And this is an escalation from previous years that's fueled by a world that is now always on. We're actually at the cusp of a pandemic of burnout, born from always being on. And this is being further accelerated by the expectations of AI. But here is the good news. We have an opportunity to change the trajectory. But we need to be able to move from being a passenger to the actual driver. And this is not just me saying it. In 2025, Deloitte had a study, Human Sustainability, and in 2026, Oxford also had a case study on cognitive load, which supports not just the facts that I've provided you, but also the framework that I'm going to share with you. Think about the simple things in your life. You stretch before you work out, or you'll get hurt. You read the recipe before you dive in and start cooking or baking, or it'll be a disaster. You check the subject line and who you're sending your high stakes email to before you hit send, or you'll have a big mess to clean up. These are all examples of the pause. And we need to remember how to incorporate the strategic pause into our lives and the lives of our employees. And that's why I'm sharing this framework. It's a framework that I use to help me regain control. And let me be perfectly clear, there are only a few things that I actually control because I don't control the economy, company policies, how other people or companies act. But I do control my thoughts, my actions, and my emotions. And that's enough. It's enough to take back control. Because if we don't, the case studies, the data, they don't lie. We will be continuously moving, but not getting very far. Have you ever felt that? You're going, but you actually haven't gone very far. More importantly, if we don't do it, it is going to result in rapid and rampant burnout. And that's going to cost us our happiness, our fulfillment, and ultimately our businesses. Now, the framework is actually really simple, but it's not easy. It requires a paradigm shift. It requires going from against our current conditioning. And here are the 4 steps: lowering the noise, setting your own scorecard, embracing no, and finding how to refill your energy. So let's go through each one of these. The first one, lowering the noise. This is the intentional part of the pause. It's not just about turning off all the pings that we have. It's about reclaiming your mental real estate so you can actually hear your own thoughts, because it only gets noisy out there. Slack, email, chat, text messages, meetings, calls. When does it stop? And where do you actually focus? Because if your focus is on everything, I can guarantee you your focus is really on nothing. Are you feeling me? Send emojis if you are. So I've been in high tech for over 30 years, and I've lived speed and burnout. And I want to tell you, it is only getting worse. There are more tools and there's more distractions today. So ask yourself these questions that I ask myself. Why do you need to be on 24/7? I didn't. Why did I think I needed to provide everyone an instant answer? I didn't. They could wait a few hours and I would actually do a better follow up with that. So set up your day so that instead of multitasking and go and answering all these pings, that you set along time slots to do this. Maybe you have 3 time slots in a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and just before you leave. And that's when you answer these pings. All the rest of the time, you're focused on whatever your calendar is asking you. The other thing is just setting up time in your day to get your real work done. Because what I see is I see people going from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. And all you have to do is to block time out. Block time out to actually get your work done. Because if you don't, you end your day, you have a to-do list, and you have no time to get it done. Now, I know this is very tactical, what I'm telling you, but it works and it reclaims your energy. The other tactical item, we're talking about tactical, is your meetings. Set them up to be 25-minute intervals instead of 30. 9:05, 9:35, 10:05. And use that first 5 minutes to become intentional on what you want to achieve in that meeting. When I started doing that, I was no longer reacting, but I was intentional and I achieved what I wanted to. Talking about intentionality, overall intentionality is so key. And so I'm going to ask you, how do you start your mornings? Because how you start your morning is going to be how you deliver the rest of your day. And so for me, I'm embarrassed to say this, but this is how I started my morning. I slept with my cell phone. And in the morning, I would go to email, I would go to chat, I would go to text message, and I would just respond. And what I was doing is I was reacting to the world. I wasn't creating my own intentions. So now what I do is I wake up a little bit earlier and I take a percentage of my time in the morning that is just to me. I personally journal and I talk about my intentions for the day. And lo and behold, that's what I achieve. But own your morning, become intentional. It doesn't have to be in journaling. It could be meditating. It could be exercising. It could be sitting in the silence, having your first cup of coffee, but own your morning and decide upon your intentions for the day because that's what's going to lower the noise. And you need to lower your noise so you can hear yourself. Now, once the noise is actually gone, you have to decide what matters. And that is your second step, which is your personal scorecard. This is the strategic part of the pros. So, companies' scorecard, are they burning you out? Because if they are, you need a personal one. Because corporate scorecards, they're going to be quarterly. But guess what? You live daily. So, what are you measuring on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? If you are measuring success, your success based upon quarterly goals like a company has provided you, I'm going to guarantee that most of the time you're going to feel bad. Plus, do you really have control over the corporate scorecard? I know I didn't. And for me, I'm in sales. So what I did was I started to create my own daily scorecard, the things that I wanted to work on, the things that I had control on. And again, I was in sales. So this is an example of mine. One was, did I cultivate a relationship today? Two was, did I push a deal forward, which is usually just, did I get to the next step? And three, did I reach out to a new contact today? These are small things, but they're small, measurable things that were in my control. And when added up over time, they resulted in a significant impact to my results. Now, I don't know what your measures are, but only you will know what the right measurements are for your scorecard. But what you need to do is you need to create your own so that you are in your control of your own measurement of success. And so you're not drained by not achieving corporate's quarterly measurement. Now, you can't hit the scorecard goals if you're drowning in other people's priorities, which where we get to the third piece of the framework, which is embracing no. And I like to call this embracing no to get to your yes. And this is the boundaries pause. Did you know that no is one of the shortest words in the dictionary, but the hardest to say? And every yes that you say to a low value task is actually a no that you're saying to the high impact work. This is where you can actually take your control back. So, share with you a few years ago, I looked at my calendar. And again, a little embarrassing, but it was booked solid and mostly by unnecessary meetings. You might ask, why didn't I take them off? Well, I didn't think I wanted to let Lisa or Jane or Jim, whoever down. I also thought I've always done them, so I thought I needed to. And if someone asked me to do something really small, was like, yeah, I can do something really small. But when I looked at my calendar, I had like 20 of these items on it. And you multiply these small things by 20, it became a large portion. I'm giving, I gave myself and I'm giving you permission to say no to the things on your calendar that do not align to your goals, because you are never going to become the person you want if you are stuck being the person you used to be. You need to do an audit of your calendar and find things that no longer belong and do the things that are focused on the goals that you specifically have. Because the essence of burnout, it's relentless motion without purpose. Now, the fourth thing as part of this framework, which is going to seem a little counterintuitive, but I'm going to ask you to add things back to your calendar. But it's really important what these things are, because the things that you're going to add back have to be where you get your energy from, how you refill your cup. So I told you before that I worked for Google. Google has a concept which is called the 20% project. And the rationale behind the 20% project is, if you have your core employees focus 80% of their time on their core role, give them 20% of the time to focus on things that will give them energy. These are things like, maybe you're giving back to the community. Maybe you're investing in yourself for a skill. Maybe you are doing something bigger than yourself, or you're mentoring someone. Only you will know where your energy comes from. But when you actually allocate your time 20% or some percentage to get your energy back, then when you're focused on your work, you're just so much more productive. I'm living proof of this. I use that 20% project. And by the way, it doesn't have to be 20%. It could be 5%. It could be whatever number you have. But what is important, if you continuously just focus on the work that you have, you are going to get drained. So you have to find things to put back in your calendar so that you can refill that energy. So to recap, 4 steps: lowering the noise, setting your own scorecard, embracing no, and then finding your energy to refill your bucket. So I'm not here to tell you which new tools to get your time back. I'm actually here to tell you just the opposite. And my advice to you, if you're a leader, is to create education and enablement that gives your people permission to use these pillars. Because, yes, and if you are an individual contributor or a leader as well, I want you to embrace this framework to take back your control. Because I'm telling you, the pressure of 2026 isn't going away. AI isn't going to slow down. But the answer isn't to go faster, it's to get clearer. Because your edge at work isn't how fast you move, it's how clearly you think. So I want to leave this with you today. What would you change in either your organization or yourself tomorrow if you prioritize the 10-minute strategic pause over the 0-minute response time? I'll take any questions that you have now.
Thank you, Colleen. That was fabulous. I was like, yes, meetings back to back. Yes. Pings, pings, pings on Slack and Zoom. Yes, yes, yes. So I think we've all been there. A lot of us, I think, have gone through all of that, and I think we're still going through all of that. In my last role, I know for sure, it was nonstop meetings back to back. Like sometimes you just have to like, I to go take a bathroom break. Please give me a couple of minutes to step away. So I know I'm completely it's been I think we all of us are in that have gone through it or still going through it. But I think there was one thing I was thinking about talking about strategic pause as a tool for clarity, right? As you mentioned. Now, as a leader, you obviously worked at some big names, companies wise. You've seen how more tools could possibly often lead to more noise, maybe.
Mhm.
So, what is your hard rule? If I were to say, what's that one hard rule for deciding like what types of tools stay, which can protect deep work versus not, giving that clarity, giving that pause to people. And which ones do you say, okay, no, great, this sounds like a great tool, but may not necessarily be a tool to keep people engaged and productive. So how do you make those decisions, I think, as a leader?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you for asking. So when I think about it, I actually love tools and I love AI, even though I just talked about how AI wasn't good. The issue that I was trying to portray is unless you have the
Yeah.
foundation right, unless you know what direction you're going, tools are not going to help you. AI is not going to help you. It's just going to burn you out. But I think that if you know what you're trying to achieve and a tool can help you, then go for it. But if you are just putting a tool in to put a tool in, like I'm seeing people do right now, which is, oh, we have to use AI for this. Oh, we have to use AI for this. That is not helping you. I have friends, I have coworkers, I have people who are executives who are telling me that they are so exhausted because they're sitting and playing with AI so that they can get ahead
Mm-hmm.
because they're feeling that they're getting lost behind. And the fact is, they're not getting lost behind. What they need to do is to focus on what do they need this AI for? What are they trying to achieve? Then get the tool. So if I was to make a recommendation to everyone, you have to understand what you want to achieve before you're looking at tools to make everything, more successful for you. I'm not sure if I have lost you.
I think she froze.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Great. I'm glad it wasn't me. Does anyone else have a question or even a follow-up from what I just said?
Don't see any other questions here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate, the opportunity to speak with everyone today. You can find me on my website. Happy to talk through this. This is actually a really important topic. I do believe that we are on the cusp of a pandemic of burnout. I really do. Those stats, I'm seeing it in the workplace, 82%. I think we need to slow down and we need to focus on understanding where we're going before we try to go and get there.
Colleen, thank you so much for joining us. And I think your talk was definitely very relevant in the current times. And we hope people are able to use the key nuggets that you shared and really be more purposeful and intentional about their day and about their work. Soumya, you're back.
Sorry, I don't know, it just kicked me out for a minute and I was like, uh-oh, whatever is happening here, but I'm back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I guess that we are at the end of it because I don't see any other questions. Thank you, Colleen. We appreciate you being here. Uh, it was great insights. I'm sure a lot to think about for all of us as well. But thank you, and hope we can see you again at one of our conferences again. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.